What page before we?
Page 36, please. Yeah, why don't you do the slides and I'll do the numbers if you have any. Ted, you have a better voice than mine.
Thanks, Mark. Nice compliment. All right, village board. So I had the great task of putting together a slide for the village board. There's no changes in the budget. You know, I think looking back at 2017, you know, you as a board have accomplished quite a bit. The two I highlighted that probably took, you know, some of the most time is a lot of policy decisions based on the major infrastructure projects, such as the alley funding. I think that is certainly something to be proud of as a board. And the time you spent going through the process of hiring a new manager, that's very unique to 2017, so that's something as well to be pretty proud of. You know, one thing we wanted to keep in mind when putting together the budget for the village, or putting together the proposed budget for the village board, is a continued emphasis on communication with the public, so making sure that we sustain that funding, as well as training for the trustees. Any questions on those numbers? Otherwise, we can just keep going here. So,
Are you on the budget?
just, yeah, village board.
Page 36.
I do.
Yep.
I'm still perplexed. We didn't get to talk about it during the year, but I do think that the village board should have some sort of cost of inflation percentage that the rest of everyone in the world has. I think the last time we got any cost of living increase was 1973.
So I'll put it on the list.
Yes.
Well,
I think you have to do it by ordinance, is that correct?
I think you have to do it in ordinance a year in advance or something like that, and it takes effect when your term rotates, and I know Nathan said there's some legal challenge to that, but perhaps put that on a committee.
I was thinking more of like future items of consideration.
It's not really a budget thing for this.
As far as having it on an item for one of the committees to review.
And I don't know if you might just want to ask Nathan if that means includes cost of inflation, or if it's actually an increase in your salary, just to increase your salary. So
Okay.
can you just clarify?
We could look into that. I also have some numbers. Another municipality just did a comparable study on elected official compensation. So,
But they don't usually put it this line. There's other ways, when I went to ICMA, that they budget for it.
that's right.
Right, and we can certainly modify our presentation of that.
And then the second question I had was under communications. I think that the $4,000 for Shorewood Today writing by Jennifer Anderson should go in the Shorewood Today budget.
Each entity supports the writing for their part of the Shorewood Today as a group collaborative. Each
That's just on the, right, so that's just on the village articles. So typically what we do for the Shorewood Today budget, that's a budget to putting together on behalf of all the partners.
As a fiscal agent.
As the fiscal agent, correct. But then to support the writing, you know, like Caitlin Watson does it for the school district. For us, we have Jennifer do it. And because she's doing it just for the village, that's why we keep that separate, because it's a benefit for the village, not necessarily for all the partners, which is the rest of the Shorewood.
I understand that. So when we talk about press releases for our press release person, is that in our, it would apply here too, then we should go here, because it's on behalf of the village.
A lot of the press releases we have her do, we try to do it as a benefit as a community as a whole. So all of her fees are in the marketing communication fund.
All of them, right?
All of them.
I don't know. So if it's CBA related, then it has to come out of the CBA budget, and I don't know if that's changed because of the status of TID expenditures, but historically.
Well, if the CDA has initiatives they want communicated, it would certainly come out of their budget. Yes.
Okay, so when we talk about Shorewood today, though, just keep in mind that this is an expense for that, correct? Even though it's
I didn't catch that last part.
So when we talk about Shorewood today, kind of like the overall picture of how much we're spending, this is an expense related to that.
That is an expense for a short take, that is correct. I mean, you could, as a board, instead of having a third party, you could have staff do it instead, but, you know, if I were to do the writing, for instance, there would be some other things I would have to take off my plate.
Trustee Bachhorst?
I know we never came to a board decision on this, but are we considering budgeting for any team building, training, or?
I think we should add that.
Yeah, if we put that on the list, I'd
We
appreciate
have some idea what that dollar amount?
Right.
that you would
I don't-
This year.
Yeah,
Right.
Larry's actually planning on something for October,
Okay,
but if you want something in addition to October, we could build, if you want to add that in, we could certainly do that.
well, we should see how that's gonna play out, but it wouldn't be a bad idea. to
Let's
do
just
that
put it on the list so we can
Okay.
come back.
We could try to have that session before the 23rd, and we can see how that goes.
Can we wait for the new village manager?
What was that?
That's for a different conversation.
Yeah.
I would like to put on the list, new iPads or something. I don't know if other people are probably handling the technology a better way, but I have to use the iPad and it's like difficult to respond to emails and and those iPads are really super old, and I don't know how other people, if they get their village mail on their laptops or video.
I get it everywhere. Yeah, here on my laptop and on my.
Oh, well, maybe I just need some help.
Well, I know it's, we have a replacement schedule for all IT, I thought, that's, or we look at it in budget committee, are they on there?
I don't know from memory, but I would have to look. I mean, the schedule's in the back 2 pages of this, but let me make a personal note to look at that and then bring feedback back to
Well,
the board.
I'm curious if other people
Oh, yeah.
are even really using them. Maybe we shouldn't, but, I mean, if I could get it on my regular Gmail, I don't know. I'm just not, I tried,
Let me look
my
into it.
husband fixed up something for me, but then it stopped working, and I don't know.
You're talking
Do
about village email?
do all of you have a computer at home?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I'm going to send you a
What you taught
shortcut.
me.
I'm going to send you a shortcut, which you can use that shortcut on your home computer, and if you want to, and it'll basically bring up your Outlook. You just got to remember your username and password, and that will get you in every time.
That's great.
Well, that was the problem I had, the password.
Okay, so you're gonna.
Well, I don't know if
Tyler will work.
We'll
on
follow.
Well, I don't know, should we add?
Well, I haven't done my list.
on the list
Put on the
because
list.
I don't use mine because it's old and it's
Yeah,
caused me
Right,
to-
exactly.
I have it on my list to report back to the board on the current iPad's life cycle and let you contemplate a wrap up if you want to take any additional actions on that.
I guess I
If
was
that's
also hearing
okay.
the question, did you want to hear from how many trustees are using their iPads or not? Or
I use
is
mine.
that not the?
I would if it
My
wasn't.
email, my
so
email
clunky.
works just fine.
I don't use
Well,
mine,
it works, but it's like if you have to do a lot of typing,
It's not good.
yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it.
yeah. I don't know, what did you don't use yours, Paul?
No, I stopped because I can pull everything up on my laptop. Bigger screen, it's
Yeah.
faster.
Typically, the main purpose of why boards are going to iPads is instead of printing out board materials,
Right.
that you can access it for that. Emails is a little different. I mean, if you're doing a lot of emails, you probably are going to want to use a computer for that. I'm going to try to address that in the email that I send you with the instructions. If that doesn't work, maybe then we can revisit this on the October 23rd summary meeting. Is that a good plan?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
So put on the list to remember.
Yeah.
Yep,
Great.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a general iPad discussion, budget or technology.
Technology, yeah. That's up to the board.
Any other questions? Otherwise, we'll go to court.
I I just want to say, our 2017 projection for professional education is only 1,000. So even though we budgeted 3,000, so,
I think all those numbers don't include the league conference, which I believe.
Just
you're
started
going to.
coming in.
Okay.
Just
So
started
that's,
coming in.
that will go up.
all right.
Yeah,
Good question.
just got those a couple days ago.
Okay, move to court. I'll take the slide and then Mark, you can't add anything else. Significant changes, court clerk, we already talked about that, moving from 1 FTE to 0.75. Court fines and court legal are now presented in the court budget. We did this to increase the transparency of court-related activities. So hopefully that gives a better picture for you of those services and the costs associated with it. Future accomplishments and the current challenge is finding a new court clerk. I've already gotten several applications for the court clerk and actually feel very good about some of the applications coming in.
I like the term future accomplishment.
Right, it still needs to be done. We haven't found them yet, but it's going right now. So that's the 1 minute summary. Any questions on court at all?
So you separated out the court legal fees. So is that our current attorney? Is that our village attorney?
Nathan.
Okay, and so what is the total legal fees budget for our village attorney for the both purposes?
Well, the remainder of those will be in the other general administration budget, which will be 3 or 4 sections.
I know, you know what they are, I was trying to
I
figure
think
it
it's
out.
101.
Yeah,
Well, it was in the summary presentation, but that also includes legal fees for other matters.
Okay, so
So,
it's about 101 plus,
Plus the 30.
no, it's 30. Well, if we want to definitively resolve this, let me go to other general administration here. Just one moment, please.
and the reason I ask is, we haven't RFP'd that contract in a while, and I know you guys are working on a memo, because I haven't gotten a copy of the contract yet, so, I don't know, most places.
The board hasn't gotten the contract yet? So what you're
Do you
saying?
have a copy of the legal contract, the retainer? I just
That's
asked for a
coming to
copy.
the board, not to, just want to
If
see
you
it.
request a copy, you can get a copy.
We have $60,000 in 2018 budgeted for general legal services. Well, it's a detail on page 50. We're gonna get there. It's a detail on page 57. And then 30,000 for court-related, so a total of 90,000 with Gravello Carlson.
Okay.
If that answers your
That
question.
did, thank you.
Perfect.
So anyways, I would like to review that, just to see what our retainer says, so if I could get a copy of the retainer, that'd be fabulous.
So are you asking if you put the village attorney on the list?
We've got a comprehensive package coming to Finance Committee of the various contracts and how we're going to integrate implementation of that consistent with the new purchasing policy. And we will have all that information. It's outside of budget if that meets your needs.
More of a separate budget and finance.
What's the purchasing implementation policy?
I'm just wondering which budget cycle, if it's not this one, I bring it up in budget because
Yeah,
once we decide when we're going to RFP it, if it was this year, we may have a reduction in, you may have cost savings when you RFP any contract, so,
If you move to a retainer methodology, that'd be correct.
yeah,
Currently, it's already.
correct.
As an attorney, you're on a retainer at an hourly rate.
Correct.
It's
Not a retainer
not
fee.
a-
We don't pay
Not a
much.
retainer.
Yeah, it's a retainer with a fee, but there's you're not, usually don't execute contract with law firm. It's
Mark, do you
Is
think
there an agreement? I mean, what do you,
like an IT, you might get a letter saying our fee now is this. But it's as needed as you call. You don't know who's going to sue you next week or when you're going to emergency. It's a retainer, a relationship retainer. You're their client and you're retaining them to perform this series of duties. And,
and when do you review that retainer?
if you don't like the lawyer,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, part of my research is that the village attorney serves at the discretion of the board, and that's in municipal code.
The marketing we had a retained rate, and that's kind of very similar.
I would just recommend, while it is a fair point that that could save some, if you don't mind saving that for a future budget and finance committee meeting coming up, when Mark gets all the contracts together, that's something that I think the committee of three can discuss at that time.
Yeah.
And that'll
Great.
be
We don't have that
before
answer
the
today as
draft.
far as cost.
And it may not be costly. I mean, you meant the quality is also a key factor, in retaining professional services. So you're not necessarily, you may get higher costs, as you go out for the bids.
Yeah, that's why you did.
Any questions for Court?
Sure.
Yeah,
trust
why,
me.
why does health insurance go down from almost 25,000 to 6,500?
Because with the court clerk going down to 0.75, while they still have health insurance, it's prorated. So they actually pay a higher percentage of the health insurance, and the village pays a lower percentage of health insurance if they choose to do the health insurance.
As well as the budgeting assumption is